Some instances, media and entertainment, all of these pose one problem or the other for the church. These are the things that I believe we're dealing with, and I know we can mention much more. To bring that to our own time, to bring that to our own context. Maybe not so much when it comes to the media in Nigeria, but in the West, you know that people are being canceled left, right, center for identifying with the Lord Jesus Christ. But in all these other areas, people are affected. So this is our ministry context. And we also have false teachers in Nigeria. And we have false hearers in Nigeria. So this is the context where a shepherd ministers. And like I said, the brothers will share more on that. So let me close. Hopefully, in this brief address, hopefully, you have seen that a true shepherd is of God. A true shepherd is a product of the triune God. You know, in 2 Timothy 3:17, Paul uses the phrase, man of God. God's man. There's no confusion on God's part about those that he has called to the ministry. The confusion is always on our side. He knows those he has called. You may pretend to be called. He is not confused. He can't be. So the shepherd is a product of the triune God. He's one who we can say is crafted in the image of the divine shepherd, because we are under shepherds. We who are shepherds, we are under shepherds. He is the true shepherd. And the reason I'm making this point is that in all circumstances, the shepherd remains the same. His identity does not change, even in the worst adversities. His commission does not change. The life he is called to live under God does not change. He is not permitted to become a worldly. He is not permitted to become a hypocrite because of the prevailing perilous times that we live in. The shepherd, because of his source, is the same, remains the same, even in the midst of the worst afflictions. He does not reject the testimony of the one who redeemed him, the one who purchased him with his own blood. He does not turn aside from the truth. He does not reject Christ, his Lord and Master. I hope you see that the shepherd is a happy and unashamed sufferer because of the one he suffers for. If you go back to 2 Timothy 1 and verse 12, Paul says, for this reason, that is for the gospel, to which I have been appointed, or for which I have been appointed to preach it. For this reason, we read in verse 12, therefore he's saying, I also suffer these things, but I am not ashamed. I am not ashamed. Woe is me if I do not preach the gospel, the disposition of this beloved apostle. But why is Paul a happy and an unashamed sufferer? Still in verse 12. For I know whom I have believed, and I am convinced, I am persuaded that he is able to guard what I have entrusted to him until that day. It is that deep-seated conviction in the soul, wrought by the Spirit of God, that keeps a shepherd of the Lord Jesus Christ. I know whom I have believed. Yes, it appears to all that Christians are on the losing side, but I know his word. He said to me, be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. I know that the world continues to think that though he hung on that cross, and though he was put in the tomb, he remains there. Maybe something mystical happened, but he is not risen. But I know that he's risen. I know that he's exalted on high. I know that he is at the right hand of majesty on high. I know that he is ruling. I know that he is waiting until his enemies, every single one of them, is brought under his feet. I know whom I have believed. I know him because he knows me. He first knew me. Paul is speaking of a deep communion and fellowship with God. You don't make this statement if it is not true. And that's why many like him would say, O king, we will not bow.